looked in the mirror. My father doing some touches and looked pretty good. But anyway, y'all, that's what I was saying though. Like, I had to live through it. Like, I needed some guidance because I was in the hood. I was born in chaos. When you born in chaos like that, you can accidentally hurt somebody, hurt yourself, or even kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? Or kill yourself. So I had to use that Bible. It had to teach me right from wrong as I went. And I just noticed the better I got with myself, the better the energy got around me. But I took my time with it though, y'all. I didn't rush it. You shouldn't do this, and I ain't bother people. Because I knew what I had to work on within myself. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm still doing it. It's like when I started it, first I got the recipe for myself. I got the blueprint. I said, I did something I shouldn't have did. I challenged it. I was like, let me see if this is real. You know what I'm saying? And then I just started realizing how my life was changing for the better. At first, I didn't like to change it. It was almost like as if I was cursed from reading it. So I fell back. I was like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Then I said, you know what, I'm going to try it again. Maybe I didn't give it enough time. So I started giving it time. And then I started realizing it was defining me. It was like, it was abstracting me out of the situation. And the abstract part was the difficult part. The abstract part was the harsh part. It wasn't as hard as it could have been, but seeing that I was doing it for the right reason, it turned out to be, a great, let's see how I look with the light on. Yo! You gotta go somewhere? Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, we can do them this evening. Okay. But yeah. Alright. But anyway, cause you just gotta be tough on the street. Y'all know how that is. So I started applying this to my life, but I had to still be in the street. I knew I had to still be in the street, regardless if I got this right or not. So I just made up me a print of how I wanted to. I got my issues up, and then I found the parts in the Bible that reflect somebody that reflect my energy, that had the same situation. And I just started applying it to my life, adding it to my life. But when I finally got up the blueprint, I said, this ain't gonna take me a year. That's what I thought, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is easy. I even went over with other people. I was like, I think this can be done. This is easy. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Because it was like for each one of them that I added and I tried to apply to my life, I had to do it with the surroundings. So I had to wait as the surroundings evolved, as I evolved, rather they knew they was evolving with me or not. What I mean by them evolving was getting them to respect me, because I knew I had to stay in the street. And I knew somehow I need to get respect so they wouldn't bother me. So it's almost like depending on how deep you are in the situation. So I just went on here and I built it up and I worked on it, and it winded up, what I thought took 1 year, it wound up taking 25 years. It took a long time. I mean, now if I go back, of course, I could have did it all in probably 5 to 10 years, but I'm glad it took this long. Everything in my life right now, thus far, that doesn't happen up to now, make plenty of sense. Everything. All my music. Normally when I put out music, I only put it out after I done solved the situation, but I don't put that song out. I put the hardship of the song out. So, and it just worked out. I'm talking about I was a nympho. I was very sexually active. I was dealing with drugs. I was dealing drugs. I was trafficking drugs. I was selling drugs. There was a lot of stuff I was involved in, and I didn't really have a choice. Felt like I didn't have a choice in the matter as I was coming up. I'm coming up in chaos. That's the part y'all must understand without me getting too detailed about it. So it's like jobs and stuff that I had to take on or else. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't, don't take this upon your own life. Say, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. I like that little commercial where they say, we got this dark place we're gonna send people to. You know, I ain't saying it's a good idea. I ain't gonna say it's a bad idea either though, you know what I'm saying? But it's almost like I remember back in the day when I was young, I dealt with all type of variety of people. And I had a lot of, like my godfather, Donnie Dawson taught me a lot. He had a lot of money. He knew people with a lot of money. And he was a white dude. And he took me and my brother in, the one that got murdered. And he was tough. You know what I'm saying? I think he was a Green Beret or something. And he took us in as kids. And, you know, we didn't really live with him, but he came and got us as much as possible. Taught us stuff, taught us real estate, taught us different businesses, taught us other ways to get out of the streets. We didn't know it. We didn't understand what we were talking about back then, though. But, you know, meeting these different people, you learn. I was so throwed off, y'all. He had kids about my age as well. I was so throwed off. I was smoking weed at a very young age. And what grade? I was in high school, though, at this time. I was smoking weed. I had a meeting to go to at a school, and it was important. And I think it was a meeting with when they put me in that either that college prep or that one. It's like the highest classes they could put a kid in. But I didn't want to be in that class. I was trying to get into special class so I could get easy grades and pass and get out of school. I was trying to get in a class where you could just spell the right. And they messed around and put me in the hardest of the hardest class. I don't know if they did it out of, you know, funny or whatever. But anyway, I had a meeting. We had a meeting. I was smoking weed. And the dude was like, the kids, this is how bad I was. The kids were like, why are you doing that here? I said, man, everybody smoke weed. You don't smoke weed? They said, no, we don't smoke weed. We kids, man. I was like, wait a minute, bro. I think I was in the ninth grade. I had been. I said, what you mean you don't smoke weed, though? Everybody smoke weed. I said, well, what's your flavor then? What you do then? You know, that's how I was talking to her, because I didn't know. I said, what's your flavor then? What you do? Nothing. I was like, what? Then his friends came up to me. He called his friend. He said, come here. He said, think, everybody do something. He over here smoking weed under the bleacher. I said, I thought everybody do something. I said, I thought smoking weed was normal. You know, they think black folks normally smell like that. They were like, nah, bro. We sober. I said, what is sober? What that mean? I'm telling you, that's how bad I was, bro. And so they sat me down and they explained this to me. And I went back to the block and I told the whole block as if it was something new to tell, like a new car that just came out. Like somebody just made something created, like the computers just came out. I said, guess what? I met a group of people don't do nothing. And some of them was surprised. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are he talking about? You know, the younger people my age. Hey, what are he talking about? And that's how throwed off we were back then. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm telling you. That's where I came from. So I had to teach myself how to be responsible. You know what I'm saying? Well, God did. And I just grabbed that Bible because I knew that I just sort of knew, even if my parents wanted to, they probably couldn't have taught me. Because, like I tell people, if it's homes in the slum, nine times out of 10, they still probably came from the Jets. You know what I'm saying? They just elevated in the slum. And you got to respect it. You're really supposed to respect the one who can put a house in the slums more than anything. You know what I'm saying? But, you know. So, anyway, So anyway, like I said, I just started applying it to my life. And people started giving me a Bible. They felt bad for me. And when I went out with my friends, when I went out with my friends and stuff, they were like I said, a lot of them parents would say, don't bring him in this yard. They didn't want me in the yard. You just call me the devil. You know what I'm saying? Hey, don't bring him in the yard. He's the devil. I didn't even know that at the time. I was too young to even know what the devil was. I didn't even know what that means. You know what I'm saying? So I was the kind of kid to ask you what that mean. I couldn't even read good. And if I could read, I didn't understand what I was reading. So I came a long way with just the Bible. I came a long way with just the Bible, with just God. So, you got to thank God for these situations. You got to. You have to. I don't know what happened to my phone. My phone went off. But anyway, I got right. And as I got right, they helped me. Some of the people helped me. They knew I had a problem. They just started helping me. But I just kept applying it. I had to go back to the streets, though. I had to go back to where I came from, And I just took the Bible with me. And that's how we grew a relationship together. I started applying it to my life, the different things to my life, because I realized I was born and I was raised without discipline. You know what I'm saying? So I can't help the way I act sometimes. I be trying to, though, and I grow and evolve when I realize I have to get beside myself and correct myself. So being in this house and being stuck in this situation for so long, it really wasn't that bad, because at the same time I had to get beside myself and rebuild myself to a better self. So that's all I'm trying to say, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know why they did the lighting like that. You can't change this? Well, let me shut up. Let me leave these folks alone. But, but anyway, but that was it, bro. So, and my homies, I had a squad. They knew what I was doing. And they were there for me. They respected everything. And they would take a bullet for me. The little squad I had, hey, we loved each other. But we just kept getting attacked, bro. Like, we wasn't that big of a squad, but we kept getting attacked. And we would always have to, fight for one another. But at a young age, there wasn't that many of us, but we were ruthless, bro. It wasn't but like 6 of us. Like a lot of people going against us. But we about it, bro. About it out here, bro. You bring it on. You know what I'm saying? You bring it on. Let me shut up. Let me be quiet about it. But anyway, and then I already kind of knew right from wrong in the street when it came down to, let's say somebody trying to hurt somebody, hurt a female or something like that. I already knew to intervene and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But because I didn't like to see that even on the street. I was like, I would talk to people and correct them and tell them, look, I think it'd be better if you move this way instead of moving this way. And that's about the most I would do. But when I see somebody trying to abuse somebody and bully somebody, I would always intervene. I just always would intervene, bro, when I was younger. And stuff like that made me tough, before I know it. And that's pretty much it, though. It's deeper than that, but I ain't gonna say all that on YouTube. Y'all don't need all that, bro. Because I had to understand if I was telling these stories in hood to hood. Cause I started doing missionary for churches and stuff. And then I went out of town to make a move. And somebody gave me a call and said, bro, you better check these kids, these young folks you done talk to out here. And I was like, what you talking about? So when I get back, they done turn themselves out trying to mimic what I did. and it didn't work out too good for him. You know what I'm saying? I had God with me the whole time. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know no better. And that's why you hear that saying, what don't know won't hurt you. But then it's also a time in your life where you need to know. And if you choose not to know, that will hurt you. You know what I'm saying? So I had to build myself up from a long way, man. Because, like I said, the sex and the drugs, that was, when I say I'm born in chaos, that's gonna be there as soon as you get out the womb, just about. You know, and you gotta understand. My parents were kind of cool. I mean, as ruthless as the family done been to each other, they were cool when it came down to what I could and couldn't do. You know, they didn't really bother me. You know what I mean? Have women and everything. They didn't even bother me. I was in school. Have women. Hey, you do your homework, none of that. I couldn't even get them to sign my report card. They didn't even care nothing about it. What they did, my pop did it first. But then he was like, they just wrote it off. Maybe he's just stupid or something. And they just quit signing the report card, you know what I'm saying? Because they were bad grades. The grades were so awful. On the report card, I went to the doctor and checked them to see if my brain was throwed off or something messed up. I went and paid for it out of pocket. I went and spent dope money on a brain scan. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, something wrong with me. I don't get it, bro. And I used to study all night long. And I go to school and take a test and damn near make a 0. I never could understand nothing. And so when I grew up, I started evolving, and I started getting in different energy. And I started really thinking, searching for God diligently. I just started evolving for real. And things started changing about me. I just noticed it. And here we are.